Okay, it's episode number 2 of Cardboard Insights. And for today, I want to bring on Nathan, the CEO and founder of the IDP Guys. You can actually find them at www.theidpguys.org. It's a defensive fantasy football website that produces a ton of great content. From a card perspective, he's got a little bit of a different strategy with regards to collecting and procuring sports cards and memorabilia. I wanted to kind of dive into how he is not necessarily shying away from buying wax boxes directly from retail outlets. So let's dive into it. Cardboard Insights, episode number 2. Talk to you soon. Welcome to the show. As promised, we're back with Nathan from the IDP Guys. Nathan, it's been a really long time. How's everything going?
I know. It's like it's almost like we haven't talked in 24 hours?
Well, kind of can appreciate stealing a couple more minutes from you, but look, new format. This is actually show number 2 for us.
Mhm.
We got some assets from a creative perspective that we brought into the show here, so hopefully we're going to continue to evolve this brand and a little bit of a kind of a different kind of style, really zeroing in and specific to the sports cards or the hobby industry. And I'm learning a lot about this stuff pretty much like on a weekly basis. I know that you're kind of like, in the same boat here. So there's a couple of different topics that I thought you would really be able to provide some great insight on.
Mhm.
And we'll have a little fun with it. We'll go from there. Now, I'm looking at it from this perspective. I would kind of like, fall into this category. When I was, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably all the way up into the age I was maybe like, 14, very big, specifically hockey card collector,
Hmm.
really big into hockey cards as well as baseball. My brother got into basketball and football, and our collection is kind of like intertwined with one another. So, of course, as I hit the later years of my teens and realized that my cards weren't necessarily going to be able to pay for my college education, I kind of stopped.
Yeah.
And then I'd say really since the pandemic was really like the catalyst of how I got back into the industry. So I guess my first question, kind of go over to you, is: are you somebody who collected for an extended period of time, left the hobby, and got back in? Is this something that's kind of like really brand new to you? If you kind of like had to put yourself into a collector's category, which one would it be?
Oh, brand new. Very brand new. Now, that's not to say that I never had cards when I was growing up. The 90s, every aunt, uncle, grandmother was, tossing a pack of tops in with the Easter basket or the birthday present. To be honest, most of those I only ever cared about was for the gum that was in the pack. you know, um, I'd had they were mixed in baseball cards back then, but I've never been a baseball fan. And so really kind of came together with talking to you, talking to our mutual friend Keith, and kind of, I don't know, it was intriguing. I started watching some YouTube videos of breaks and seeing, you know, what what these other collectors were doing from a standpoint of creating content. And there's the excitement of, oh my god, like I just pulled something that looks just beautiful. And I'm a graphic designer, so I look at these also in the lens of like, I evaluate how it looks as far as, is it a good design? Is it really cheaply made? Those kind of things. And all of that kind of came together, and I was like, man, I kind of want to get into this. I want to be doing this as well. And so um I would say in the last 6 months to a year, I've been in this community.
Gotcha. And from, I guess, the card kind of like a perspective here, more of a hobby, utilizing this to generate some additional cash flow, combination of the two. How are you currently viewing the hobby?
So generally it's very casual at this point, but I'm creating content around it. So we have the YouTube channel that, when I started it out, it was really just a matter of like, hey, if I see something and I pick it up, I'm going to record myself opening it. And, hey, I'm looking at other people's videos that aren't always like the best produced, aren't always the most perfect. And then they've got, thousands of views on it because it's people are looking for those breaks, those reviews of certain packs out there. And I thought, well, I've got a background in content creation, YouTube videos and stuff. Why can't I kind of take it to a level that, looks really cool, looks really nice as much as I can, and then just when I get a pack, break it open and see what I get. And from there, it's kind of turned into this a little bit bigger YouTube channel, I guess. We're now doing something together where we're creating more content. My collection has gotten to the point that I've uh, scared my wife when she saw all of the cards laid out. So yeah, it is definitely not a income driven hobby at this point for me, but I don't have a great attachment to my cards in the sense that if I could get them all up on eBay and start selling them, I would be doing that. It's just a matter of time for me right now.
Interesting. So is it kind of like fair to say that there wasn't necessarily a specific catalyst that brought you into the hobby here? You kind of like alluded to before. You are a content creator. I mean, as an entrepreneur, these are some of the things that you're doing from a graphic design perspective, from a
Uh-huh.
content creation like a perspective. And it sounds like getting into cards was more out of kind of your curiosity as well. Okay, you know what? Let me kind of give this a shot here to see what type of content I can create around it, and then it just kind of stuck. Is that a fair assessment, or is there more to it?
No, that's honestly it. It was a curiosity thing. Obviously, I'm a huge football fan, so there's a level of knowledge going into it.
Sure.
Especially when I'm watching these other YouTubers that are going through the cards and they're mispronouncing people's names. They don't know like um not that they don't know what team they're on, but it's just like they have very limited information. It's almost like they're casual fans that are also collectors, whereas I'm, as I eh, own a fantasy football website. I cover this stuff year round. I'm in that football community to a level of knowledge that I would say is probably above the casual fan. So when I go through and I see the cards, I have a little bit of a background of, okay, what's, this player's deal? Are they someone that is like a third, fourth round NFL draft pick that is kind of under the radar that could pop up and become a maybe not a star. I'm not going to say that I know that kind of knowledge, but they could have a greater exposure to people. And when people are exposed to a player, then they gravitate towards wanting that card. So that increases the value of the card. So I guess there's a little bit of inside economics that piques my curiosity with it. That kind of helps spur getting into this, but yeah, for the most part, I just wanted another avenue to create my own content. You know,
Interesting, kind of good stuff here. So, look, you talked about some of the things that you're doing from a football perspective, as well as like the IDP guys here. Are you looking at any other types of products, or is it, hey, you know what? I just stick with football. That's my lane. I don't really deviate the lane, and by dabbling into either baseball, basketball, or hockey.
absolutely. I know nothing about those other sports. I don't particularly want to know anything about those sports, so I stay away from those cards because um, I don't know the players. I don't know what I'm getting. At
Sure.
least with football, I had I have an idea of take a great example, Travis Etienne. I got a ton of those cards last year. I know that player. Not a lot of people know who that is at this point. He was a pretty big player in college, came out in the draft, immediately had an ACL tear with the Jaguars, under the radar right now. And so I've got a bunch of those, and I'm just waiting for him to come out this year with a healthy leg and go from a nobody to one of the top 5, top 10 running backs in the NFL.
Interesting. We'll see. Now, if one of the things that I want to do in this episode here is really kind of spend some time going through, I guess, two different types of strategies. Because I think you take the approach of procuring or acquiring inventory or cards in a little bit of a different manner than I do. Um, I utilize cards for cash flow kind of purposes, but I've kind of found myself really starting up my collection again or getting back into polishing up my collection. So, for example, I really just focus in on hockey as well as baseball. And from a collecting perspective here, I really just look for New York Rangers and New York Yankee cards and those types of stuff that I kind of keep.
Mhm.
The other stuff I'm always looking to flip or sell on Facebook Marketplace, as well as eBay. I'm starting to get involved with a little bit more groups now. But the way that I've kind of procured cards, I mean, I'm really kind of on the hunt for deals. I've gotten big into taking a look at estate sales as well as kind of garage sales
Yeah.
for networking purposes through statement games. I constantly find myself keeping an eye on different, card shows that are popping up here, and if there's a good deal to be had with a dealer, I'm kind of procuring kind of cards that way. But and look, this is just kind of like the way that I'm thinking, and it's probably just because I'm biased and I have it grained in my head here, and where that when I buy something here, I just don't want to pay retail for it.
Mhm.
However, you're on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and where it looks like you know, for the main part of things here, you look to buy your product via retail apps or kind of websites. And hey, whatever. Not like we're Joe Rogan and we have 8 million kind of followers. I don't have a problem talking about Target. So
Sure,
if
sure.
if somebody wants to claim that we're giving Target some free publicity, I mean, go crazy,
Yeah.
dude. But I think we're really just trying to drive home a point here. But in the conversations, yeah, you love the Target app. You
Yep.
love Target kind of as a retailer, and it kind of seems that that's your go-to source, and I just need to know why.
Sure, sure. So, right, we go from very different perspectives with how we get our cards. You're going out probably with a decent chunk of cash to estate sales and everything, and you're able to negotiate for even. I know you had that one deal where would you get, like 10,000 cards or something for like $500?
I got 100,000 cards for 160, either 160 or 140. I gotta look it back at
Yeah,
my notes here.
right, right. And I would love to be able to find those deals. I'm a busy guy. This is a hobby within a hobby within a hobby for me. So, I don't have the luxury of, I mean, I don't really leave the house that much, to be honest. Um, so going around trying to find sales and stuff, even utilizing Facebook and whatnot, most of the time when I look at Facebook, I'm finding people that are
Price
trying
gouging.
to, what's that?
Price gouge. I see a
Right,
lot of that
right.
stuff. Yeah.
Well, they're trying to sell at worth, at whatever the value is. In a like one card, they'll post like 8 cards and say, hey, it's like that's their shop. Almost like you're going into a card store looking at their case. You're not going to get a deal there. You're going to get it at cost. Um, so I don't really go through that. I don't try and and find the diamonds in the rough in that sense. What I do is very kind of laid back, and it's um utilizing Target and just going through and finding when things are available. So like right now you can see almost everything sold out except for you probably pick up that hanger box, the rookies and stars
Do you
here.
want me to scroll up or down? I'm just kind
Oh,
of like,
right there,
scroll
right where
right here
you're
is
at
good.
is perfect.
Okay.
So on the far right here, there's 200 cards. It's $149. Rookies and stars factory set. That thing was awesome. Breaking that, getting those cards was very, very good. And so this is what I look at. I look and see what's available, and I consider, what do I want? I look at some of the reviews, like the card hanger box, is a 3-star set, and everything I looked at from reviews says there's not a lot of hits. It's a lot of base cards. It's kind of crappy. People getting cards that were messed up in the sense of like the box was crushed, things like that. So I stay away from it. And then on the flip side, the rookies and stars, I think that's a 4.5 star, and the reviews on it were, it's a great product, looks awesome, all this stuff. So that's why, it's more of I don't get a ton of product. It's periodic, and it's when I have the extra cash to do it, in the sense of trying to also create content for this channel. So, like, I recently picked up at Target. It was the Contenders series, and for that one, I picked up 3 blaster boxes, and then I happened to come across at Walgreens 2 Illusions fat packs. So, I see it out there, 10, $15. I pick it up, and then I just kind of collect it until I have time to break them open on video. And it's all factory retail pricing, which I find is cheaper than going to like the trade shows. So
Yeah, that's
remember
an
we
interesting point. We'll get into the second. I just wanted to stop you kind of right there because I had a question here. When you're saying that you look at reviews, are you talking about like the store reviews, or are you doing any additional research? What actually constitutes like a review? And of course, it sounds like here, reviews play a big part of your purchasing decisions.
Yeah. So twofold. There's the reviews that are on the site. So people that are actually taking the time, they've bought the product, and they've, for better or worse, have typed in what they think of that product. But then I also go to YouTube, and this stems from where I started from, and I will look it up and find someone who's breaking it open, so that I can see what does the card look like, what's the base to rookie rate that's coming out of the packs. How is it packaged? Like, are these individually wrapped? What I noticed with the rookies and stars was there were no packages. It was just the cards in the box. So these interesting details go into, do I want to purchase this? Is this something that I want?
Gotcha, makes sense here. So no, that's kind of interesting. So it looks like you kind of like look at a good deal. It's not necessarily the concept of buying like at retail, but hey, look, you know what? And if you don't mind, get into this like in a second here, because we've actually gone to a couple different shows with one another, and you've kind of like pointed out the fact that how when you're at a card show, you've actually seen some of these boxes or products that you can get at retail outlets,
Yep.
but it's almost like you're getting it at a discount if you buy kind of like a retail in comparison to the prices that are being charged at some of these quote
Right.
unquote kind of like card shows. And
100%. Yeah. So what the
so yeah, just to put it rapid, I mean, you're actually finding there's better deals paying retail
Yep.
than buying it at a trade show, which I don't know. I would actually think, look, I don't buy, or I'll tell you, unless I kind of like know that I'm getting like a good deal on it. That's the only reason why I would buy. I guess they call it wax.
Yeah.
But from your experiences, it's quite the contrary, and where trade shows more expensive than retail,
Mhm.
which completely blows my mind.
So supply and demand. the people at the card shows go to Target, buy up all the product, mark it up sometimes 100%, 150%. So like when you were going through the Target app and you see all those products and they're all sold out. You can't find them. You can't get them in the store. They have lines waiting of these guys that just sit there waiting for the person to put out the product to immediately snatch it up and go. So the reason I have to sit there almost every day and look at the Target app is once Target releases it, it's only available for a limited time before it's gone. And what is it, Panini Prestige, which is 19.99 on the Target app. You go to the trade show, the one that we went to, they sold it for $50, 49.99.
And that was 1999 retail. It was
Exactly.
being sold. That's the one at Mohegan Sun that we went to
Right.
couple
And
weeks
so
ago.
it's like I'm not going to purchase that for $50 when I know that it's 19.99. And then when I think about the amount of cards that I'm getting, you get like 47 cards in that blaster box, 42, 47, whatever it is. And now you're over $1 per card, which
Got you.
is, essentially what I'm going to be able to sell it for on eBay when I get to that point.
Interesting. All right. So it almost kind of like, you got to really take into account the like a supply or the availability, and if it's a quality product and it's available in retail outlets, just because you're paying a retail price doesn't necessarily mean that it is a bad deal in your opinion.
Yeah, you're going to get the bad deal trying to get it from a card show, get it from a reseller, essentially. It's when the resale, comes through and the price goes way up,
So you're really kind of like, screwed when there's no more supply. That's where I get some of these additional prices of 50, 75, 100% markup is justifiable because you're not able to, you can't get it retail like anymore.
Right.
So your strategy is, let me kind of continue hitting the Target apps or some of these retail outlets on, a casual but consistent basis, and score some product when I have the opportunity to go ahead and do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I look at this from the perspective of creating content. If I was really had uh a great collection and I was going out and I was one of those guys at the trade show, I'd 100% be doing the same thing and then marking them up because I'd be able to get, 150% profit. Um, and they would, it would just sit there until they purchased it. It doesn't matter. I'm going there anyways. I need to fill my shelves. I need to look like I have stuff because, maybe I won't
Sure.
sell the blaster box this time, but they'll come in and they'll see that and then they'll buy from the single cards that I have or whatever. If that was my goal, I would be stocking up on this stuff. But my goal is to open it.
Interesting. To me, it's a little insulting. Does it bother kind of like, you, when you know that something sells for 19.99 and someone's actually selling it for 50, 75 bucks?
Well, it's a business. What are they? There wouldn't be there if they were going to sell it at $19.
I got to find somebody who actually doesn't mind buying it. Just psychologically, that kind of that bothers me. But
I think so. I'm not going to pay it. I'm not going to
okay,
go there and I'm not going to buy it, but I'm not going to say what they're doing is wrong. They're getting it at the price that they can, which is the the 19.99. Now, I would say if they are a Panini distributor and then they're marking it way up, now that's a problem because Panini gives specific instructions for distributors to not gouge the prices. They want to still make sure that people can buy it. So, that when this happens, these people are getting that at the $20 price, and you know the time, the gas to get to the trade show, all of that stuff. For some, I guess snotty nosed kid with an extra $50 in his pocket to come through and be like, I want that one. Why not profit? It's not great. We would probably prefer the target to just be stocked and kids to be able to get their cards. But it is what it is.
All right, sounds good. I mean, look, you're going to be doing a bunch of breaks connected on this channel. When's your next one, and what are you breaking?
So the next one should be this Friday. I still have to edit it up. It is a fat pack of illusions, Panini illusions from 2021. Um, it's pretty cool because I got some cards that I've never had before that I've seen broken in other videos, but I got acetate cards out of it. So it's a new series that I'm doing. It's called Quick Rips, where I take all the product that I had and I do one video per package, essentially.
Got you.
And so it's like 5 to 10 minutes, really quick, just kind of ripping it open, going through the cards. But in the next two is these illusions, and out of them I got 3 really awesome acetate cards. One of them even a rookie, and these are things that like I start kind of keeping to myself. Like these are going to probably maintain my collection, and they're the cards that I think could grow in value over the next few years. Because they're different, they're new. The amount of them are not going to be. It's not like a base card. My base cards, I'll bring them in. Those are going to be the first thing out to eBay. But these other ones, I kind of keep more of an eye on. I might send them out to get graded. That's one thing I don't have in my collection is graded cards.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to kind of spend some time in future episodes on that specific topic, raw cards versus graded cards. But over the course of your ripping, give us an idea of some of the best hits you've been able to pull.
So I'm glad you brought that up. I have a couple examples here of just some Josh Allen's from recent. So actually coming up in the series that's going to be taking place over the next 5 or 6 Fridays. In one of them, so this is a little bit of a preview. This was the coolest card I think I've pulled.
Nice.
So far. It's a winning ticket, Josh Allen parallel. And I see these style cards a lot with kind of the higher end breaks that I watch on YouTube, the mosaics, the illusions. This one's contenders. And I was surprised to get it. I was not expecting it. It is, to be honest, one of the few good cards that came out of that out of those boxes, and definitely watch those rips when they drop on the YouTube channel. But yeah, no, it was a product overall that I didn't care for, but I got some cool cards out of it. Coming from the standpoint of getting this at Walgreens, this is illusions. This is Josh Allen for $12. It was 20 cards, all of them this foil. And I just thought that was really awesome to find at a Walgreens of all places. And then from that, rookies and stars that I mentioned before, all of them were this style with the prism. And I really love this graphically. It's very exciting. There's a lot of depth to it. And this is a red parallel, Josh Allen. So just some of the cool cards that I pulled. Everything goes into a sleeve and a top loader. Immediately, I do all of the breaks with gloves on because the first time I did a break, I noticed fingerprints and stuff. So someone commented, "Hey, you should be wearing gloves." So I do that, very diligently now. And yeah, no, it's exciting. It's exciting to be doing it because as you're right there opening the package, you don't know what's coming. You don't know what you're going to get in that package until you finally do. And then, sometimes it's disappointing, sometimes it's not.
Hey, well, this is interesting stuff. Let's continue putting some stuff out here. I think next week we're going to have another kind of great guest for the channel. But in the meantime, I'm looking forward to taking a look at a couple of the newer rips that you're going to be doing, kind of starting on Friday. Any kind of plans to give some of this stuff away, or get people kind of participating in the breaks along with you, or we take it week by week?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on where we go with the channel, what kind of response we see. Uh, Obviously, finances is always important when it's a hobby. I'm not one of those more I don't want to call them professionals, but like, where they do live breaks and they sell the teams and everything. I don't do that. I don't really know if I have any interest in doing that stuff, but maybe at some point I might do a live rip, something like that. Just see what people think. If we get enough of a following, that's definitely a place we could go with it. But for now, it's just putting out some periodic content. Maybe you've got interviews that you're going to be doing, and we'll see where it goes.
All right, man. Good stuff. Appreciate your time. I'll catch you next week.
Great, thanks.
Take care now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Had a lot of fun with Nathan covering the topic of retail when it comes to sports cards procurement. If you actually like this episode, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to this channel. We're looking to kind of bring on a variety of different guests covering a wide range of sports cards and memorabilia topics and insights. With that in mind, if you don't mind, drop a comment below. We'd love to kind of know or get a better understanding of some of the topics that you would actually like us to cover on this channel and throughout the duration of this program. Be well, everybody. Talk to you soon. Take care.